Hey guys, today on PC Guide, I'm going to be showing you 7 things that you need to do with your new gaming PC in order to get the most performance out of it that you can. Now, these are things that a lot of people overlook, and some of you out there who already have your gaming PCs and think that you have it all set up and to your standards, you may have forgotten some of this stuff, so stick around and we're going to get into it. Now, the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be updating our graphics drivers. A lot of people don't know this step when they're getting their first computers, but it is imperative to download your graphics card drivers. Now, if you're running an NVIDIA graphics card, you're going to want to go to the link in the description and get something called GeForce Experience. GeForce Experience is going to be your NVIDIA hub for how you're going to get all your updates for your graphics card. Now, if you're running an AMD graphics card, you're going to want to head over to the other link and get the Adrenalin 2020 software, which is pretty much the same exact thing but for AMD. So what you're going to do is you're just going to click download now, and that's going to initialize your download. Now that you're finally done installing the software, it's going to ask you to create an account. Go ahead and do that and log in. That's going to scan your hard drive for all of your games, and it's going to ask you if you want to optimize them. You can or can't. It depends on what you want to do. It doesn't really matter. So what you're going to do when you want to update your graphics card driver is you're going to open up this software. You're going to go to the tab that says Drivers, and you're going to click Express Installation. So these are going to come up every couple of weeks, and it's not going to be super detrimental to upgrade them every single week, but as new games come out, this is going to increase the performance in your newer games and some of your older games as well. When your card comes out of the factory, it usually has drivers that are at least a couple of months, if not a year or more old. So what you're going to want to do is immediately you're going to want to install these updates because it's going to drastically increase your performance in some games. So you're just going to click Express Installation, and it's going to start installing your new graphics card driver. It may say download. Sometimes it allows you to download it, then install it later. If you do that, you're going to want to make sure that you come back and actually install the driver after it's downloaded. Now that our installation is complete, we're going to go ahead and just close out of GeForce Experience because there's nothing else that we need to do in here. For those of you guys on AMD, again, it's going to be a very similar experience for you guys. You're just going to run their software. I can't run it because I don't have an AMD graphics card, and it's going to run you through the entire process and auto-detect your graphics card and install the drivers that you need. It should walk you through it pretty easily. Now, that being said, if you have bought a AMD CPU that has integrated graphics, so that means you don't have a graphics card in your computer, you're going to have to scroll down on the web page below, and you're going to click on Processors with Graphics, and likely it's going to be AMD Ryzen processors, and you are going to find your model of processor. Go ahead and find which one it is, and you're going to click Submit, and you're going to download the software here. Now, don't be worried if during the process of installing these drivers that your computer may turn its screen off, may black screen, may make some beeps and boops. That's completely normal. What you should do is just pull up YouTube or do something else, but nothing that's too important because there is a chance that your computer is just going to black screen on you for up to 10 seconds at a time, and you don't want to be interrupted doing something important. Trust me, I've been there. Now, the second thing that you can do for your computer that a lot of people just don't think about, even if you've had computers for years and years, is installing the chipset drivers for your computer. This is going to get rid of anything that's an unknown device in your drivers page, and it's also going to give you some options in your power planning that will let you choose stronger default options as opposed to creating a new power plan entirely that's going to let your computer run at maximum efficiency. So for you AMD guys out there, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down to Chipsets on the page that we were on before for our graphics card driver, and you're going to choose the socket type for your CPU. So for those of you running earlier Ryzens, that's going to be AM4. Specifically, I have an AM4 B450, and you're going to click Submit. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring you to this page, and you can download your chipset drivers here. Now for you Intel guys, you're going to install this chipset utility, and that's going to help you run through the same process as the AMD guys. The third thing you can do to increase your performance on your computer, especially if you're running on a laptop, is adjust your power plan. Now, a lot of people don't know how to do this or just don't think about it. And what you have to do, it's super simple, is you're just going to go to your search bar if you're running on Windows 10, and you're going to type in power plan, and you're going to go to edit power plan. Simple as that. You're going to go to change advanced power settings, and with that new chipsets that you have, you're likely going to have some of these AMD or Intel power plans. If you have AMD Ryzen, go for the high performance one. If not, choose something that seems higher performance of the options. If you don't want to edit the power settings yourself, you can just go up to the top here and go to power options, and you can choose from a default here. If you don't have one of these AMD or Intel ones, just go ahead and click on high performance and save that. What this is going to do is it's not going to turn down your performance when it thinks it's drawing too much power. It's going to let it run at maximum performance. Another thing you can do to help out your gaming computer isn't something that's going to increase the performance, but it's going to increase the quality. Now, if you've got yourself a new 144Hz monitor or any monitor at all, it's a good thing to check this out. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you're unlocking your monitor's full potential on its refresh rate. You're going to go to search, you're just going to type settings, go ahead and open up the settings, go to system, then go to display. Make sure that you have your monitor selected, and then you're going to scroll down and go to advanced display settings. So go to display adapter properties for display 1. Now that you're here, you're going to go up to monitor, which is the second option, and then under screen refresh rate, go ahead and choose the highest one. If you know what your monitor is supposed to go up to, go to that one. If not, it's safe to pick the highest one. These options are made by the manufacturers. You're not going to hurt your monitor this way, but a lot of times people don't realize that they aren't getting the full potential out of their monitors. You may be using a 144Hz monitor right now and be thinking to yourself, what the heck, I've been using it at 60Hz this whole time. Don't be that guy. Once you've selected your screen refresh rate, make sure you click apply. Something you can do to really increase the startup time of your computer and make it boot up a lot quicker, as well as just be more usable and more performance heavy as you're using it throughout the day, is to go ahead and reduce the amount of programs that launch on startup. Now to do this, you're going to press Control, Shift, and Escape all at the same time, and that's going to bring up your task manager. Now you're going to go up to the top and you're going to click on Startup. Now this is going to show you all the programs that when your computer starts, it's going to load these as soon as it starts up. If you have a bunch of these things starting at one time as you're trying to turn on your computer, it's going to really slow it down for minutes at a time, as well as just have these running in the background at all times, which is seriously going to bog down your computer. Now the easiest way to fix this is to click on status, and that's going to filter it where it puts all the enabled ones at the top. Any one that reads enabled is a program that is starting when you start your computer. Now in order to disable one of these and make it so that you get a clean launch on your computer, you're just going to go ahead and right click on one. I don't want Microsoft Cortana, and you're going to click disable. Now Cortana is not going to start on startup. Go ahead and do this for everything that you don't want starting when you start your computer. Something that a lot of new computer owners don't realize is how to properly set up their network and internet connection to get the highest speeds that they can. And with gaming, we know how important that is to maintain a good ping, good connection, and get the highest download rates that we can when we're trying to install new things. So what we're going to want to do is we can just click on our internet browser. This is the first thing we're going to want to check. Now, as you can see, this is what my internet is called, and you can see that there is a blank version afterwards, and then there is a _5G version. Now the difference between these two is the 5G version is running on a 5 gigahertz band, while the one that doesn't have 5G is running on a 2.4 gigahertz band. Now the difference between these is the 5 gigahertz band is going to generally offer you higher speeds, but it's not going to travel as far as the 2.4 gigahertz band. So if you're far away from your router, the 2.4 gigahertz band might be good for you, but an easy way to check this is to connect to each one and then run a speed test on your computer. Now, in an ideal world, we're not working with Wi-Fi. Sometimes we do have to though, and whether you're using a Wi-Fi USB adapter or a wireless card or something that's built into your motherboard, you're going to want to make sure that you have this setting checked. If it's in your motherboard, you may not have this option, but if you're using a wireless card or an adapter, this is almost certainly going to be an option, and it's going to save you a ton of headache to disable it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down to the type to search, and you're just going to type in device manager. Now in here, you're going to see an option called network adapters. Go ahead and click the arrow right next to it. Now you're going to locate your wireless adapter. It's not going to be any of these WAN mini ports. It's going to be one of these top few options here. I know that mine is this Wi-Fi card. You're going to go ahead and open that up, and you're going to go to power management. Now, by default, most of the time, the option allow the computer to turn off this device to save power is going to be checked. What this is going to do is if the computer thinks that you're using too much power, it's going to turn off your internet, meaning that it can disconnect you from a game, it can turn off your downloads, it can just stop your internet entirely. You're just going to want to go ahead and disable that, because there's no reason that you need to be disconnected if the power usage is too high. Next, you can go to advanced. I recommend not clicking too many things in here, but if you're using a laptop, you can go ahead and go to roaming aggressiveness, and I like to turn this up to its highest option. What this is how many times it's going to search for those wireless signals that are around you. At highest, it's going to be searching all the time. Now, the drawback of this is it will take more power from your computer, so your battery is going to die faster, but if you have a desktop, I like to keep this on, and on my laptop I also like to keep this on highest. Now the final thing that we can do to see some real major performance increases in our computer is to download MSI Afterburner. What this is going to do is it is going to overclock our GPU, but that's not what we're going to be using it for today. We're not going to get into that. We'll get into that at a future date. What we're going to be using it for is we're going to edit what's called our fan curve in order to get more performance out of our GPU by keeping it cooler longer. So go ahead and click on download. And I already have this software installed, so go ahead and install it, and I'll see you on the other side. So now that we have MSI Afterburner installed, we're going to go ahead and open it up. Now by default, you're going to see options somewhat like this, and that's normal. Your core voltage is going to be locked. I unlock that, don't unlock it, don't mess with it. It can mess up your hardware. Incredibly unlikely, but we're not going to get into it today. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about fan curves. Now what this is going to do is each time your graphics card hits different temperature checkpoints, so to speak, it starts to turn up the fans on the graphics card. Now the way that newer GPUs or graphics cards work is that until it hits that temperature threshold where it says, okay, this is too much, it keeps turning itself up and giving you more performance, so to speak. So the cooler you can keep it longer, the more it's going to turn itself up until a certain point. It's not going to turn itself up infinitely, but it's going to keep it from doing what's called thermal throttling, which is when it gets too hot and then it starts to decrease how much performance it's giving you. So to edit our fan curve in MSI Afterburner, we're just going to go click on this little cog here. That's our settings. And we're going to click on fan. Now this here is our fan curve. So we're going to click on make sure that enable user defined software automatic fan control is on. Now by default, this is what your fan curve is going to look something like. This is on a GTX 1060 6GB. If you don't have that card, it's going to look a little bit different. So it's going to have different temperatures and it's going to notch up at different times. Now, depending on how loud your fans are is how much you're going to have to play with this. For me, I like having my fans turn on sooner so that my card runs cooler longer before it starts to reach those temperatures where it starts to thermal throttle, because my fan noise, I can't really hear it through my headphones. To adjust this fan curve, what you do is you click these little squares and you just drag it up. Now, the higher you drag it, the higher the fan speed is going to be at this temperature. So when I drag this square, what it does is at 80 degrees, right now, it will be at 60% fan speed. But if I drag it up at 80 degrees, now it's going to be at 100% fan speed. What I like to do is I like to have it hit 100% fan speed, quite frankly, at around 70 degrees. And I like to have my fan speeds high sooner than that so that it doesn't even really need to hit that. Now, this is excessive. A lot of people don't need that. Go ahead and play around with it and see what you like. But I recommend having your fan speeds a little bit higher towards that higher end than what is considered default. Make sure before you close this that you just go ahead and click apply. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the 7 things that you need to do with your new gaming PC in order to make sure that you're getting the most performance out of it that you can, especially as a beginner PC user. These are things that all of you can do at home right now in order to get some more performance out of your computer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.